All right, welcome back to Two Guys One Pod.
That's right, the podcast where we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
And today we're going to be talking about season 2 of Stranger Things.
That's right. So, last time we forgot to introduce ourselves. So, I'm Chris,
And I'm Travis.
and today we have on my cousin and one of my friends, Seth. Seth, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello.
All right. And so today we're going to be talking about season 2 of Stranger Things, a pickup from our last podcast where we talked about season 1. So let's just start it off. We're going into recap of the last thing. Last thing we seen Will do after he got out of the place of whatever.
The Upside Down.
Yeah, the upside down. We seen him puke up this slug.
Yes.
Right.
Super gross.
Super gross. So now we are proceeding into next season where events have transpired. We learned that everybody's gotten a tad bit older and Will is still having episodes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's-
like world like switches to upside down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like everyone disappears around him and everything, and he doesn't snap out of it until he gets like physically touched, right?
right, yeah, he doesn't snap out to it till he gets like physically touched or wakes up, pretty much, I guess. So, does it start off at Halloween or is it before Halloween?
No, it starts off before Halloween. The boys are meeting up at the arcade.
Right. They
Yeah.
are playing Dig Dug, I think.
Yeah, and they realize that all their top scorers have been beat by somebody named Mad Max.
Right. Mad Max
Mad
has destroyed their top scores, and they
Yes.
they believe that it's not Mel Gibson. Right. So I mean, they don't think that Mel Gibson has come to this arcade and destroyed their top scores. So they're like, "What the crap's going on?" And Will has his first episode
Yes. He
where
wanders outside, I believe.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's where we see. Do we see the shadow monster here for the first time?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
because he runs out of an arcade, and then that's where, or I don't think you see the monster, but you see the storm itself,
Yeah, and you might see his legs.
Right.
or arms, whatever they
expanding.
are.
Yeah, arms, legs, whatever.
All right. So now we've got. He's keeps going in and out. We don't know where 11 is at this point. Oh no! As a matter of fact, season 2 doesn't start off that way. Season 2 starts off very strange. I just remembered how it starts off. We see a robbery or something of the sort taking
Oh,
place.
yeah.
And
No, I don't think it starts off that way.
no,
Does
it,
it?
yeah,
does.
it
Yes, it does.
definitely. That's the opening
wow.
scene because it's really confusing because you're like, did I click on the wrong show?
Yeah, well, until you see what the girl does,
Yeah.
you might think you've put it in the wrong show.
And then
Uh,
we see number 8.
Yes,
Yes.
number 8.
All right. Because I had a big debate about it being number 6. I thought it said 6 when I first seen it, but it just turned out I was mistaken. So we see number 8 and
Running from the law.
running from the law, and then we're not sure exactly what does this mean until we see her fucking with the cops' heads, and it looks like this
Yes.
bridge collapses, but it doesn't. It was an illusion,
That she made, yeah.
yeah, that she made, and then we see her cover up. Her nose starts to bleed, and
She wiped it off.
wipes it off, and we see the tattoo on her wrist of the 8.
Yes.
Which we all know 11 had the similar tattoo and side effects from whenever she uses her powers.
Yes. So that kind of ties that together.
Yeah.
Still leaves you wondering, but
Yeah, you're still kind of like,
Are there multiple? How many?
yeah, what's
How
going
many are
on?
left?
How is she tying into the story? Which is kind of shitty, actually. How she ties in,
completely derailed.
yeah, the whole series and tied her in a very loose way and cut her away in a very loose way too. It was like, I don't know. So
Back to the boys.
back to the boys. We're at the boys. 11's still not there. We don't know where 11 is at this point. Will's having these weird things happen to him. We're about to get introduced a new character, Mad Max.
Yes.
And yeah, Halloween's right around the corner, and yeah, so I don't know. Where does it go after this? Because I feel like there's another event that transpires.
Yeah. Let's see. I think what happens between Halloween and Joyce, Will's mom, taking him back and forth to the doctors at the lab.
At the lab, the secret shady lab that still stands.
Yes. Run by different people, so to speak.
Supposedly, yeah. Supposedly died.
Yeah, supposedly. Dr. was Brenner? Is it Brenner?
Yeah,
Is that right?
I think so.
No, there's no supposedly because we hear and see them get ripped apart.
We
No, we do not see.
we do not see.
We see soldiers getting ripped apart, but the main dude we hear, I think he dies. Like that
Yeah,
monster
everybody thinks
is
that.
So Papa died, the one that
Yeah,
11 calls Papa.
Papa
I
died.
thought it was implied that he was still alive.
No, I know
No.
later on in the episode, 8 messes with 11's head with Papa, but
Yeah, but she says something. She says something that you have to take really serious. You didn't see him die. Nobody saw him die.
And that's kind of
Yeah,
like
very,
foreshadowing.
very. Yes, it very, very much looks like he died. We think he died, but when she said that, I looked back myself and I was like, I rewatched it, and you don't actually see him die. You see him get pounced on by the Demogorgon, but it doesn't show him getting ripped apart or nothing like that.
How often does that Demogorgon leave one alive?
Well,
But yeah, I see your point. I see your point, though. I mean, I just figured with all the screams and blood spewing everywhere, I would figure Demogorgon ripped him a new one, no?
So
But true.
then we go back to school.
hold on, I just want to throw one thing in there. If I've learned anything from watching shows like The Walking Dead, if you don't see them die, you have to expect they're still alive.
That's true. God, that's so freaking true. So many times with fucking Glenn.
To be also true. Well,
Yes.
Wait, Glenn?
Anyways, yeah, Glenn, they
Oh, I was so happy when his head got smashed open.
God, shut up.
you're like the only person I've ever heard say that.
Oh, I was so happy.
You're so
I don't
stupid.
understand. That's exactly how he died in the comics.
Yeah.
Everybody
I don't know what.
You know what? It is exactly how he died in the comics. But you know, Judith, they didn't kill Judith off. They didn't kill Lori off how she died in the comics.
They didn't kill anyone off like how they died in the
They
comics,
didn't
except for
make
Glenn.
Carl get bit by a zombie in the comics.
Exactly. What?
Yeah, if you're not caught up, spoiler alert, Carl got bit.
Right, but
In the
we're probably assuming that he's immune to it somehow.
That's what I'm thinking. Because how are they going to kill Carl? He's Carl.
He's a big part of the show. Yeah, so back to Stranger Things, a show that doesn't suck.
Oh, The Walking Dead don't suck.
It's fucking awful. It's been going on way too long. They should have done tied it up.
Going off subject here.
So
the doctors at the
facility.
are saying that Will has PTSD, that his episodes aren't real, like he's just seeing them in his head.
Yeah, he's just doing all this. Which Joyce is kind of taking it at value that that's what's happening, but she's still kind of skeptical, being old Winona Ryder, being skeptical about it.
Yeah, because Will's not really saying a whole lot. Like, he's not really he wants everybody to almost leave him alone, not leave him alone, but like back off a little bit.
Back off, dude. Yeah.
But he's not really telling her everything.
Yeah. So we go to school, right?
Yes.
After this, and we learn that Nancy and what's his name?
Jonathan, Steve.
Nancy and Steve are still together.
Yes.
Jonathan's okay, getting by.
Everybody starts off okay. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's starting off okay. The kids discover who Max is.
Yes. New girl. New girl in school.
New girl and new brother. Or not new brother, new guy who what's the one guy's name?
Steve.
Yes. Who Steve or the new guy sees Steve as competition.
Yes.
Yeah,
immediately. Steve's head honcho, and he comes in and needs to knock him down a peg or two.
Yeah. And immediately we start to pick out conflicts outside of the main conflict, which we know is going to have something to do with the Upside Down at this point. Because we also learn that what's the boys' names? I always go blank on them.
Will, Dustin, Mike, Lucas.
We learned that Dustin and Lucas are conflicting over New Girl.
Oh yeah, Mad Max. Yes.
Yeah, Max. And Steve is conflicting with new guy Billy.
Oh, there's something else. In that trio of Mad Max, Dustin, and Lucas, Mike also has a thing, and he doesn't want her in the group.
Yeah,
he has a thing against her. Kind of like how Lucas had a thing against 11 being in the group last season.
Exactly. So Mike's afraid that she's going to replace 11, which he still is expecting her to come back. He still believes that she's out there. You know, because we learn later on that the people were questioning Mike about 11 and stuff, and he's like, I'm not going to give her up or whatever, and then he sees her at the window.
Yes.
But so there's a conflict. There's conflictings there. There's conflictings between Steve and Billy.
His name's Billy.
His name's Billy. Yeah. What else? Who else? Oh, we learned that there's a guy investigating Barb's death.
Oh yeah, he's from like the CIA.
No.
He's just a local conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, he's a big conspiracy theorist that everybody thinks is off the rails and stuff, which he kind of is.
Yeah, he very much is. Yes. There's somebody else too. Let's talk about Hopper and 11.
Okay. So
we
see 11, and she is eating Eggos, because apparently Eggos are like the greatest thing in the world. And she is with Hopper at his cabin. So at his cabin, Hopper is taking care of 11, and he's got like this radio they communicate with. He won't let her. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say they what's the Morse code? Morse code.
Yeah.
He taught her Morse code. Yeah.
Exactly, and she just pretty much sits around all day, eats Eggos, and watches
TV.
Shitty 80s TV.
And she tunes in to Mikey.
Yeah, she listens in. She doesn't ever say anything, but she's listening.
She does listen. And she wants to get out. She wants to go back and see all of her friends that she's made. And see Mike.
She wants to see Mike. Yeah.
And Hopper does not want her out. He,
which was probably the right call. It's kind of tough to make that kind of call, but probably Hopper was right.
Probably, yeah.
If she got out, they got a hold of her. Could have been bad.
Could have been bad. Been in the same situation. So Halloween is coming up on us.
Yes, we can jump to Halloween now, I think.
And one of the major conflicts is 11 is supposed to go trick-or-treating. Hopper's supposed to take her trick-or-treating. He promises.
Right? Yes. But he gets tied up in the pumpkin patches.
Right.
Something crazy's going down.
Something crazy's happening, and Hopper is keeping things under wraps for the department.
Yes, for
Hawkins' lab.
Hawkins' lab, yeah.
And so, but the boys, they're going to go out. They're going to have a good time, They're going to
there's another conflict.
Go ahead.
Lucas and Dustin want Max to go trick-or-treating with them. Mike doesn't want any part of it.
Right.
Will was fine with it.
There's another conflict too.
Because Mike.
Go ahead, Seth.
I was on add on to what Travis said, because Mike isn't okay with Max for what reason?
She's
replacing 11. Like he felt like she was going to replace 11.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There's another conflict too. So the conflict is that Lucas and Dustin are the same Ghostbuster.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then Mike tried to get him to be the other dude because he's black.
Yeah.
Yes. And Lucas didn't, he thought that he shouldn't be.
Right, because it wasn't his favorite character.
Yeah, he wanted to pick. It was Mike and Lucas. That's right. Yeah.
And then, so events transpire. Anyways, they're the Ghostbusters, which I have to say, they're a lot better Ghostbusters than the new Ghostbuster movie.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. No.
So they're the Ghostbusters.
But I heard it got rave reviews.
Oh, it's awful.
Horrible.
No, I know that. That was you couldn't tell the sarcasm.
I was listening to a podcast, off-track side topic. I was listening to a podcast, and one guy said that he was like, everybody in the theater was pissed off, and that they were made, like, people left early, and he was like, he stayed through the whole movie, and this one guy at the end of the movie just stood up and clapped and was like, I can't wait for the next one, which before they were going to make a whole trilogy of them, but after that movie bombed so bad and got the reviews and ratings it did, they canceled completely the whole thing like 2 days after. Yeah. So he's going to be severely disappointed, that guy.
Yeah. I want to throw in one more conflict because there's a Halloween conflict between Steve and Nancy.
Oh, yeah, the Halloween.
The Halloween party conflict, yeah. Where Nancy gets belligerent drunk and just repeats bullshit over and over again.
Right.
Everything's bullshit. And how Steve doesn't care about Barb's death and everything's just bullshit. And Jonathan takes her home.
Yeah, comes to the rescue.
Yeah.
Which he always seems to be there taking care of Nancy. He always seems to be coming to her rescue.
Always whenever stuff gets heavy in action, he replaces Steve.
Heavy and...
Well, Steve wasn't really in the wrong, let's be completely honest.
Oh, no, he wasn't. He wasn't at all.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, Nancy just got drunk and just...
Got drunk.
Being Nancy.
Yeah. Being Nancy. Nobody likes Nancy. Nancy sucks. Because I like Steve and Jonathan, if I'm being completely honest. Steve and Jonathan are both great characters, but Nancy's just like weighing everybody down.
Yeah.
And she is the reason that Barb got killed.
She's the reason that Barb got killed. Let's put Benny's death on her too.
Yeah, everybody forgets about Benny.
Yeah, everybody forgets about Benny. No, let's put Benny's death on Nancy too. Everything's Nancy's fault.
Everything's Nancy's fault. We're putting Benny's death on Nancy.
Barb's death on Nancy.
And a death later on in the show. I'm also going to pin on Nancy.
Yeah, I was going to say, without spoiling, any future deaths that we'll talk about later is on Nancy too.
Yeah. Anything that goes bad is definitely Nancy's fault in this film. She's worse than Hawkins' Lab.
She is. She's worse than Hawkins' Lab.
So, all joking aside, I do think that the girl that plays Nancy does play her very well.
Yes. She does a good job acting.
We're just hating on Nancy as a character. We're not hating on
the character of Nancy.
We're not hating on the actor.
Yeah.
So we go on, and so she gets belligerent and drunk.
Oh, okay. We're going back to Nancy and Steve.
Nancy and Steve stories. She gets belligerent and drunk, and they're going, and Nancy and Steve are visiting Barb's mom and dad.
Oh, yeah.
And that's whenever they learn about the CIA, or not the CIA, shit set.
They're about to dump all their money.
Yeah. They're about to sell their house to dump all their money in this private investigator. And
to find Barb.
Yeah, and they're eating KFC, which apparently was a big thing back in the 80s. I don't know.
A big thing back in the 80s. It's a big thing now. Who doesn't like KFC?
I mean, just the skin off the chicken and the gravy's good. South Park reference.
Yeah. Just ask Portman if KFC's any good.
So, Steve doesn't seem like he doesn't not care. He's accepting that she's gone. You know, and he's trying to get.
It's not that he's accepting that she's gone. It's that Nancy's upset that her parents, don't know anything.
Right.
And they're about to dump all this money, and she wants them to know the truth so they can properly move on.
Yeah, and I think everybody involved had to tell had the secret agreement.
Yeah, everybody had to keep it.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything was supposed to be kept secret, so nobody could say anything. Everybody just had to play it off like Barb's missing.
Barb's missing and died. Yeah.
Which Nancy's not wrong for wanting to tell her parents. That's not wrong. It's just that, they couldn't. They couldn't. The Hawkins Lab run everything. I mean, for God's sakes, they killed Benny.
Yeah, they killed Benny.
They capped Benny's ass
capped him like he was nothing. And then
he didn't even know anything that was going on.
He had no
You know?
idea.
He had no idea what was going
He was
on.
just
So
trying
they
to be
know
a good
everything.
Samaritan and help a little boy that he thought was a little boy. It turned out to be a little girl. Out, and no, they just capped his ass.
Yeah.
Which I saw no reason for. If they just kept hush hush about it, because
Well,
11
Seth,
wouldn't have known what
I gotta
that
stop you
one.
right there. I gotta stop you right there, Seth. Anything that movies ever taught me is the only good witness is a dead witness.
That's right.
I'm not saying that they're wrong or I'm not saying that they're right for killing Benny. I'm just saying that I'm using that as like a level of how scared everybody should be, like Steve.
Well,
And like I'm using that as like a level of severity that Benny didn't know anything that was going on. Steve knows a lot more crap. So they'd off him real quick.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just he didn't know anything. It's like
So
taking a
also,
blind man to a circus. He doesn't know what's going on. So if and 11 wouldn't have known who the woman was, because she shouldn't have seen her face, I think. So if a woman just played it cool, told 11 that she could get her help, food, shelter, anything she wanted. Really, my dog scared me.
11 knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, 11 dipped out. 11 was gone.
She knew the people. Like, they weren't trying to be secret about it at all. They were just trying to be secret to Benny. 11 knew who they were, so she just
Okay, I didn't remember her reaction very well.
Yeah, she knew who they were. But okay, so these guys, like, we also learned that they're listening in on people's phone calls still. Like they're keeping tabs on everybody still.
Although for a different reason now.
No, for the same reason.
Well, they're still trying to find 11. They're trying to make sure everybody keeps everything quiet.
Right.
Just basically, the same stuff. If anybody knows anything.
Like the new guys that replace the old guys, they're just trying to contain the thing. We're not trying to exploit it or lose it. We're just trying to contain it and then kill it.
Yeah,
or contain and study it.
They keep trying to contain it and stuff.
Which it's done too late, but they still we're trying. And they're trying to find no, they know who has 11.
No.
No, they have no idea. They have no idea who has 11.
They believe that she's still around, but they have no idea.
Yeah, because Hopper's in and out of that place like all the time. They are ice cold on 11 leads.
They have no idea. And Hopper is taking Will to his doctor's appointments, him and Joyce.
Yes, Joyce.
Which we all want them to get together.
Because Hopper stages as Will's dad, right?
He doesn't stage as Will's dad.
No.
He goes there. He's the, if you fuck with him, I'm going to fuck this whole place up kind of guy. Because he's
the leader of the outside group, the kids, and he's the leader. He's the one in charge.
If you remember, Seth, from the last one, he broke into Hawkins' lab twice and zonked out security guards.
Yeah,
he pulled
I
some
remember that.
007 ninja shit.
I just thought I remember hearing comments Hopper would say honey or wife or something like that towards Will's mom. Kind of got the
Well, no, I think what you're getting at is they were leading us on to think, I guess, root for them to get together.
That's a very odd way. That is a very odd way to.
No, you've been rooting for them to get together since season 1.
Yeah, they have, and they really amplify it in season 2.
Right.
But then let's talk about another new character. But then
old Bob, who is the actor
Joyce
for Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings. I was like,
yes,
it's Sam. It's Samwise. Oh my god. So Bob, who
drops at one point drops a It reference.
yes.
I just want to throw this out there because he talks about because Bob grew up in Maine, and if you know anything about It, Stephen King's it took place in Maine, and he kept referring to a clown. He called it a different name other than Pennywise. It was like Bozo or something. What was it?
Yeah, Bozo the clown or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't Pennywise, but it was a big It reference.
All right,
If
so
any,
we've surpassed Halloween. A big event transpired in Halloween.
yes.
Somebody had a video camera. I think it was Will.
Will.
Had a video
Yeah,
camera.
Bob gave his video camera to Jonathan. Jonathan was supposed to go with them to trick or treat. Jonathan he dropped them off instead and went to that party, which he went to Nancy and took her home. And yeah, we skipped over the boys trick or treat.
So they go trick or treating and they do their own thing, and Will has an episode again where he films the episode but then gets scared and drops the camera. But this camera and video plays a big part later on.
Yes.
So
he sees the shadow monster again.
Yeah. So
he gets really close to him before Mike snaps him out.
Snaps him out of it. So we see the shadow monster again. Mike snaps him out of it. Then eventually,
and
go ahead.
This is a very big part too. Whenever they all go home, because this leaves you on a little bit of a cliffhanger episode. When they're all going home, Dustin gets home, and he hears something rattling around in the trash can.
Right, he does.
Yes,
he hears something in the trash can, and then it just kind of leaves. And then like you hear the sounds of the Demogorgon, don't you? Kinda?
Yes. You hear the screams, that high pitched, yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, the Demogorgon's back, hiding in a trash can.
And then it's like this little slug.
Yeah, and then we learn later.
It's like a little lizard.
That's like a little lizard that he's caught. And he believes he's discovered a new species.
Yes.
Because
he did a bunch of research, and even though it seems like a reptile, it does not like the heat at all. And reptiles are
heat or light. Yeah.
Yes.
Warm-blooded. They love the heat.
Yeah.
They love the light.
Yes.
So crocodiles and snakes lay out on rocks and stuff whenever it's.
Have you guys already mentioned the conflict with the community and Will, with him being called Zombie Boy all the time and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting bullied by everybody.
Yeah, everybody's bullying him, and because he's in a daze. He doesn't, nothing's right. He spent a lot of time in the Upside Down, and
yeah,
we're at where the dude finds the baby Demogorgon.
Right.
Yes.
Gordon thingy.
So
Can't say it.
Yeah. So
what happens after that? Because I don't remember.
He takes it to school, and he's showing it off to Max and.
Right, to Max, Mikey, Lucas, and all.
And he makes a sound, and it makes Will go crazy.
Yeah.
That's how they knew it was had something to do related to the upside down.
And this is where
they didn't show the teacher.
And then it gets loose. Right?
Yeah, in the school. Yeah, it gets loose.
Loose in the school.
And at this time, 11, because she's mad at Hopper for not taking her trick-or-treating and stuff, and she's kind of rebellion, while they're looking for the baby Demogorgon, 11 makes her way to the school.
Yes.
And she sees Mike and Max in the gym, I think, and she gets really jealous and uses her powers to make Max fall off her skateboard.
Right, Max fall off her skateboard.
Yeah.
And then Will goes outside. He's having an episode
He's
again,
having an episode.
and this time
Because the conversation.
yeah,
I just want to throw this out because of the conversation that Bob and Will had about the clown that he had a problem with.
right.
He told him to go away or whatever. So Will tries to use that advice in his episode. And I'll let you pick back up, Chris. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's actually a good point. And Nancy, we didn't see this in the show, but Nancy had actually told Bob to tell Will that story. You know, because this is, you know, once again Nancy's fault. This is
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, what are you talking about? Oh wait, yeah, it's Nancy's fault.
No, but so Will faces the monster, and this time he's like, "Go away, you know, get the fuck out! I'm standing up to you." And the monster just throats him, just goes right down his throat.
Yeah,
and it is,
he enters him.
yeah, the monster enters him.
It was not consensual.
You come inside me, I try to fight you.
Yeah, he definitely, the Nightman got inside him.
Yeah, the Nightman cometh.
The Nightman cometh
So
down his
Will's like, you know, we leave off there. His mom.
Well, he's in the middle. Everybody sees him in the middle of the field, you know, seizuring up because the monster's entering him.
Right.
But we gotta figure out a different way to say that. The monster is taking over him.
Which it does. It does.
It does. And he's seizing up, like just standing straight up in the middle of the field outside the school, and everybody's trying to snap him out of it. And I'm pretty sure the episode leaves off there because they're all about some cliffhangers.
Yeah. Which then but it's not really a cliffhanger because you can just binge watch the next episode. But
Yeah.
not
Not if you gotta go to work the next morning.
That's true. But so
That's
then
what happened to me.
we're at this point. Everybody's doing their own thing. And we go to the next half of the story. Nancy and Steve break up, you know, because Steve told Nancy that he loved her, and she goes, "That's bullshit."
Yes.
He couldn't stop saying that's bullshit.
Because everything's bullshit. Nancy's bullshit.
Yeah, that's the dude bullshit. She kills everybody and she fucks everything up for the whole world.
Everybody would be better off without you, Nancy.
So
Yeah, her and so with Steve kind of like out of the picture. He's not out of the picture, but he's out of the picture with Nancy. Her and Jonathan start spending a little bit more time together, trying to come up a way to take down Hawkins' lab.
yeah, they're trying to figure out how to take Hawkins' lab out. So her and Jonathan come up with this great plan. Ooh, sorry.
It really was. Nancy's a good schemer.
Yeah. They really did come up with this excellent plan to where like they're gonna have all these people from Hawkins' lab like jump them, and Jonathan gets a tape recorder from Radio Shack where Bob works.
Bob works.
And so
it's interesting. It's interesting how they set the thing up because they knew that Hawkins' lab was tapping everybody's phones, so they called Barb's parents and started telling them stuff, like leading on, like that they know what's happened to Barb, and they say, you know, we don't want to talk on the phone and
We want to
that's how
meet.
they basically, yeah, we want to meet up. So they knew that Hawkins' lab would hear that and intercept them and bring them back to the lab, which was all part of the plan to get them to spill the beans
Right.
on tape.
On tape. And so now, which they didn't think to search anybody before they brought them in, but whatever, plot hole story. But
Well, that's the thing. They just, they thought that they were catching the kids. Again, it was a pretty good scheme. I mean, you think about it, they're just some teenagers. Why would they have a tape recorder? Why would they, why
right.
would they be busting them? They're not the law. They're not the CIA. They're not the police department. And they probably didn't think that they would know that they were tapping the phones.
Right. So then Jonathan and Nancy takes this recording to the private eye
conspiracy theorist.
Right. So he takes the recording to them, and events transpire. They figure it out, right? They figure out what happened.
Yes.
And then...
Well, they know what happened. They just...
Jonathan and Nancy share a night together.
Yes.
After the dude basically
into
their face.
Yeah, the dude.
You two want to sleep together. You clearly want to.
Yeah.
Bedroom back there. Go do it.
That's basically what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And sum it up. That's a very good summarization. Because that's pretty much what happened. So they do. It was a very hot and passionate moment.
Yes. We're leaving off. We are sticking on the Nancy story.
Yeah, we're okay. So we're gonna jump back to
because we haven't got to 11 Hopper. There's a lot of other things going on.
So let's go away from the boys and Nancy's. Let's go back to Hopper and 11.
Hopper and 11
has broke his promise. 11 comes back.
That's trick or treat.
Yeah, 11 comes back to the cabin.
Yes, they have a big fight, and she breaks a lot of stuff, and he's yelling, and they're just having a big old fight, a knockdown, drag out.
And Hopper locks her away pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see. She made a big mess in the fight or whatever, and he told her that she wouldn't be able to watch TV or anything until she gets it fixed or, cleans up the mess. And she stumbles on documents about her mother. And Hopper had told 11 that her mother was dead, that she wasn't around anymore.
Right.
And she finds out that she's still alive. So she had her list with her to find out, to see her mother. You want to jump in on that, Chris?
Yes. Oh my God. So this is where the story derails completely for 2 episodes.
Yes, it does. It does. It consumes 2 episodes worth. Yeah.
So 11 goes on a hunt for the mom. Finds
just
the mom.
like Hopper and Joyce did in the first season. She made her way to her aunt's house.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's talking with her mother, or trying to talk to her mother, but her mother just keeps repeating these words. So 11 taps into the brain and finds out why her mother keeps repeating these words.
Yes.
Her mother repeated those words so she wouldn't forget.
And it was basically the events that happened on that day 11. That messed her up.
Like specifically with 11. It was from right where she got knocked out while she was in the hospital, and like right after she delivered 11.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little bit after she delivered 11.
Yeah.
You know, it was a while after she delivered 11.
Yeah, it was actually stretched out over a piece because when it was each little thing that she said had something to do with the delivery and her trying to get her daughter back until they zapped her brain.
Yeah, it just kept zapping her brain.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyways, so she finds out all about her mom, and because of this, in that sequence, when she broke in to get 11 back, or what's her actual name? We learn it here too.
Oh, I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't remember, but anyways, when she goes in to get 11, she sees that other little girl with her,
Right.
and 11 wants to know who she is because she remembers her being there with her.
Right. She thinks if she can find her, she can find some more answers. So they keep going,
Yeah.
and 11 goes on a road trip to Chicago.
Yes, Chicago. They're in Indiana, and yeah,
Where
8.
She meets 8, and then it goes into a side
Eh,
thing where it doesn't seem
yeah.
to fit with the story.
Well, it kind of does, but not the whole episode worth. It's a good backstory, and good.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
like,
We learn about characters that are utterly useless, though, to the story. We learn about
yeah, they really
yeah.
are.
I mean, it makes
They
a
really
little
are.
bit.
So let's summarize this really quick then. She goes to meet her sister. Well, she's not really her sister, but it's
Quote
her,
unquote.
her, yeah, quote unquote sister. She has powers too, but they're nowhere near as strong as 11's. She just has mind powers, like she can make people see things.
She
She's
teaches 11 how to channel her anger and
she
pain and all
does,
that to make her powers stronger.
and during this, we learn that she's out. Other than robbing and looting, she's out trying to make everybody pay that wronged her. So, and then 11 finds out that she comes to a realization that the people she cares about are back home in Indiana, that she wants to help them, that those, not that she doesn't care about her quote unquote sister. It's just that's her family now, and she wants to be there with them. So
right.
she leaves and comes back just in the nick of time. It was almost like, they set that up. That's that whole side story just to make her have a dramatic entrance. And
Yeah.
we didn't talk about Hopper and Joyce and Will and the boys.
Yeah, well,
So if
we're
y'all
going
want
to
to get on
jump
that, because
back to that now.
Hopper goes missing. Yeah, you.
Yeah. So Hopper is investigating this pumpkin thing, and he
Falls down a hole.
he knows
Well,
the
no, he
lab's
doesn't.
connected to it somehow. So
Yeah.
he
Yes.
starts digging, right?
And it's only like
Yeah.
a foot until he makes a huge hole in the ground because
Yeah.
it's because like the
No, I'm pretty sure he
Virus.
dug for a while, but yeah, it that's not important. Sorry.
is it like a virus or
No,
No, it's tunnels for the
yeah.
shadow monster.
But
The shadow
what
monster made these tunnels,
yeah,
which were basically
because Hawkins' lab couldn't contain the opening, and like they can contain it where they were at, but it went backwards after they contained it from going forward. It went the other way and started to spread, and so it's made these tunnels. And Hopper comes
all over
across it,
town.
and we see Hopper get taken down. Right. So 11 thinks that Hopper's not coming back, but Hopper actually is fucking fucked up.
Yeah, he's trapped. But I want to throw in something there because that shadow monster uh, is inside of Will now. Will can see things, and he basically maps out all the tunnels. Like he just starts drawing like a madman all over his house, and that's how Hopper found where he wanted to go. And with the help of Bob, because I I don't know how. Actually, no, Bob helped
No,
Joyce and the boys find Hopper. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because
But anyways,
Joyce goes down into the tunnel.
to retrieve,
Yeah.
to find Hopper. Joyce and Bob does.
Yeah, Joyce and Bob
Mike,
goes and gets Hopper.
Yeah, Mike and Will are still in the car, and Joyce and Bob hop down to go find Hopper, and they come in just the nick of time too, because he was about to die.
He's about to die. But so,
oh, it's something very, very important. When they get him out, Hawkins' lab shows up just then, and they're going down there to try to contain it, and they're burning everything, and it really, really messes Will up. It fucks him up.
Yeah.
He falls out and seizures real bad and
starts
shaking.
Screaming and stuff. And
yes.
He gets like super hot because they're burning what's inside.
Yeah, they're
him.
essentially burning him. Yeah. Because the monster's inside him.
This puts Will in the hospital at Hawkins' lab.
Yes.
So Will,
Joyce, Mike,
Hopper in the hospital,
and
Bob. We don't really learn much about Max's backstory or the two
little
boys.
bit, yeah. She's from California.
Yeah.
Her mom married Billy's dad.
Yeah, which is a very abusive father, which makes Billy fucked up.
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's abusive to Billy, and Billy thinks it's basically Max's mom's fault. He can't take it out on her, so he takes it out on Max. And while all this stuff is going on, I'm sorry I'm interjecting again. There's a lot going on at once in the show, but because Mike and Will are in the hospital, but Steve, Dustin, Lucas, and Max go out to catch to capture and kill the baby Demogorgon, the Demodogs.
Yeah.
What did we call it again? Dartanius?
Yeah, Dartanius.
Dartanius is what Dustin gave his name. Well, they go out on a hunt there. So everybody's got their own things that they're doing, kind of like season 1.
Yeah, because it got out or whatever and ate the cat, didn't it?
Ate his cat, yeah. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
So they're all doing their own things. The more interesting part is Will, Mike, I think at least they learned that.
Yeah, it is. It very much is.
That they're going to burn this monster out of Will, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then
and the scientists, pretty much come to the agreement, except for the main guy in charge now, that they don't care if it kills Will. They want to burn it down, and the main guy doesn't want to do that.
Right.
That's one difference.
So
that's one difference between the first season and the second season.
They turn the heat up in the room. They get the room, so they keep covering Will up. They get Will super fucking hot. And then Hopper goes down to the lab, and out comes these fucking Demodogs, right?
Well, hold on a second. I want to stop you there because we skipped over an intricate part. See, everybody still think Will is Will, but the monster's taken almost complete control of Will. and he sends them down on a wild goose chase, basically to get killed by the demodogs. And that's when they start to realize that Will's not really Will.
Yeah. And so they keep shooting Will up and keeping his head covered and everything else so he can't see where he's at and everything, because he's, as soon as Will opens his eyes, it's telling them where they're at, right?
Yeah, and then they try to like get information out of him and everything.
Yes.
Sign him up.
So like Will's pretty much possessed at this point.
After
we jumped past. This is after they leave the hospital, guys.
No. We're still at the hospital, because remember they inject him at the hospital and knock him out. Remember?
Yeah, sorry, I jumped. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
after they try to escape it, the doctor dude goes over to the cameras after the
doctor dude stays
Bob,
at the
after-
cameras.
yeah,
Him
and
Yeah.
after Bob goes and resets the power, then Hopper takes everyone to the exit, and as the doctor tries to help Bob, he gets
Escape.
killed. Bob
Yeah.
gets killed, and then the doctor.
Which I want to point out. I want to point out, if Bob didn't hesitate, like movies.
would've He would have.
Yes, he hesitated, and I mean, I guess it's just because the plot demanded somebody died, so he just had to hesitate.
Which
Yeah.
While I was watching it with Chris, he came up with a good theory actually, and it was that Bob was inside on the government stuff.
Yeah, because like if you watched like Bob,
Normal average dude who just like knows all this tech stuff, right?
Well, he worked at Radio Shack, man. He was. Oh,
But
wait, I
he
get
knew
what
a
you're
lot of tech
saying.
stuff.
He did,
and
because
it wasn't just that. Like he kind of picked up and like he was really pry about like some of the information that he wanted.
Was pry. He was definitely pry, and he did pick up on other
he
stuff,
didn't
and he
run
figured
away
it out.
Yeah,
because Joyce kept making a point, like she didn't really tell him because it's crazy, and he never did shy away from it.
yeah. Like
No, Bob's a good character. Quit. You're
I know
ruining
Bob's
Bob.
a good character, but I really
You're
do think that he was a
ruining,
part of the
He's a
government
dead
thing.
character.
He's dead now, but the
Well,
point
he
is
dead, but he was a good guy. He was a good guy.
the point is just a theory that he was set up there by Hawkins' lab to get information. What's the best way to get information is be a part of the kid's mom's life.
Exactly. I've never thought of that, and you said it, and it opened up a whole new door for me, because he just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Bob apparently graduated, but where the hell was he in season 1?
Exactly. So like
He basically went to school with Joyce and them, and wow.
So
yeah.
while this is going on, Steve and Luke,
The boys.
Steve and
Lucas.
Dustin run into each other first.
Yes.
And Dustin tells Steve that it's down in his basement. And so Steve gets his old trusty bat out. He's going to go whip this thing's ass. Right?
Yeah, because he did in the first one, so
Yeah.
why can't he do it again?
Why can't he do it again?
This Demogorgon took on a full army of machine gun wielding scientists. Well, not even scientists, like I guess the military.
They were military people. This Demogorgon ate him
and-
up, but he could not take on Steve with a
He couldn't
bat.
take on Steve with a bat.
Nothing beats a
That's-
good old bat.
Right. So Steve goes down to the basement. He's going to stop this thing, but they learn that it's dug its way out.
Yes.
So
tunneled its way out.
they tell Max and they tell Lucas, and they
Max.
go
Max. Well, no, they tell Lucas, or Lucas tells Max.
right.
He lets her in, and she thinks that he's completely crazy.
Yeah, she's like, you're
I mean, why
stupid.
wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she? But she comes along anyway and
Yeah.
finds out for herself.
Finds out for herself. So they go to the old junkyard
Yes.
and they set up a trap for this thing. At this point,
And
multiple have gotten out,
yes.
but they don't know that. They think it's just the one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, little did they know, they think that's just one. It's very, very many.
So they set up a trap, and it's a bunch of them. Oh, it's a bunch of them. And so they're pretty much fucked.
Yes.
But luckily, Will wakes up at the hospital, lets them know, and they all go running back.
Yeah, that he's going to, like, he basically calls them back, not because they were attacking them, but because he needed those to attack the people at the hospital, because that was happening like right before Bob died.
Yeah.
Because they come back and essentially kill Bob and everybody else that wasn't a main character.
So they go back. So they're driving to Hawkins' lab at this point, I believe, right? They drive to Hawkins'
The
lab.
boys, yeah, Steve and the boys, yeah, because they're trying to find Hopper.
Right.
Because they're like, we need to get to Hopper.
Yeah. Hopper's coming out of Hawkins' lab.
Yeah. Yeah. And they basically all meet up. Everything collides together. I think, is Nancy and Jonathan with them? Or were they completely out of this?
I think they're back at Jonathan's house, maybe?
Yeah, and nobody's there.
Yeah.
And Billy, wait, no, okay, no, everybody goes back to Jonathan's house.
Yeah, Billy doesn't show up till later.
Yeah, everybody goes back to Jonathan's house.
So.
And Joyce's.
Yeah. So everybody goes back to the house. They put Will in the shed, and they turn this bright light on him so he can't see where he's at, and then they just start hounding him for information like Seth was talking about earlier.
Yeah, because at this point they know that Will is not Will, that the shadow monsters
and then while they have him tied up, do like something.
What?
I mean, like Hopper catches onto it.
You cut out.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that me or?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't Will start doing like Morse code or something with his fingers on the side of the chair, and then like Hopper catches onto it?
Yes, you're very right. That's how Will's communicating.
Yeah, Will's trying to communicate via Morse code. And they're constantly questioning and stuff, and he's communicating Morse code on the side of the chair. And the phone rings, giving away the position. And here comes the fucking Demodogs.
Yes.
And so they all ready for this big fight for these fucking Demodogs. And
I thought they ran.
No,
they didn't run.
They sit up in the house.
Yeah, no, they get Will to Hopper's cabin. Is that right?
I think Will and them run, but
yeah, they put Will under, and just a few of them go to Hopper's cabin, because what their plan is to smoke out the monster.
Yeah, Nancy goes to Hopper's cabin. Will,
Mike, not very many.
Jonathan and Joyce, and then Steve.
The rest stay back. Steve, the rest of the boys,
and Max.
Stay.
So Steve, Lucas, Dustin, Max stay, and so.
This is when Billy shows up.
Billy goes to Mike's house.
Yes.
And hits
Nancy.
And hits on Nancy and Mike's mom, gets her to spill where they are. And so he shows up.
He shows up.
Wait. Who's Billy? That's Max's brother, right?
Yeah.
Max's stepbrother.
Yeah, and then whenever he gets the mom to spill the information, isn't he like flirty with her or something?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it
it
does.
hits awfully hard. Yes.
Awfully hard on it. So then events transpire, and we go to the fight between Steve and Billy. It's been building up all season, and here we go. And
Tell me what everyone wants.
Billy kicks the shit out of Steve.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
what
at
is
first, at first, Steve is doing pretty good until, Billy's obviously not feeling the pain because he's doped up on something.
No, I just think Billy's a badass, and
He's drugged. Or no, he
No, I don't
gets
think he's
drugged by Max. He gets drugged by Max, but he's already like high off of something, and that's why he's not feeling the pain.
yeah, I do think I remember that. I remember he gets high. And
Yeah, because they have some of that stuff that they knocked Will out with, but that's just knockout stuff. That's not.
No.
that's
He gets high.
After the fight.
Yeah.
Like during the fight or something, he's already high because he's not feeling the pain. Every time he gets punched like directly in the face, he just like
Yeah,
doesn't
he
even have to shrug
he
it
gets
off.
high
Listen.
before the fight.
Y'all are taking up for Steve way too much. I love Steve. Steve's one of my favorite characters.
No, I'm not taking up for Steve. I am telling you an event that happened though. He gets high
Oh,
before the
dude
fight.
The dude was high, because he was not feeling the pain, and then
I don't know about not feeling the pain part, but I do know that he did get high or something before the fight because I remember seeing that. And then
Yeah, well, he probably did, but I feel like y'all are taking away from the badass that is Billy. Billy is a badass, and he kicked the shit out of Steve, point blank, period.
and then like
only
they
at the
put him
end
in
of-
Steve's trunk, don't they, or something?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Max basically stepped in, interjected in the fight, and because she stood up for herself.
Right. And
And-
injected Steve, or not Steve, but
Billy,
Billy with this fucking stuff.
and he is by far the biggest '80s cliche in this show. Billy, by the way, just wanted
So-
to throw that in there.
The Demodogs come back to Mike's house. Like they're coming at Mike's, or not Mike's
Yes.
house, but Will's house. I mean,
Will's.
Yeah.
Will's house.
And the kids are scared, but then they just hear the dogs just get fucked up, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yes, that's exactly what happened. What the fuck?
And 11 steps through the door.
Yes.
She's back, and she's ready to fuck shit up.
and she
Yes.
does.
Yeah, and she
And-
does.
When that happens, when 11 comes back, they basically smoked the shadow monster out of Will.
Yeah.
And then Hopper and 11 meet back up, and their plan from this point is Hopper and 11 are going to Hawkins' lab
Yep.
to shut the doorway altogether.
Yeah, to shut shit down, and
Yes.
yeah. So
Um,
they go back to Hawkins' lab,
Yes.
and what's the rest of the gang doing? Are they just kind of hanging out?
I'm pretty sure they're all just trying to get their feet under, back under them. Everything's starting to calm down. The Demodogs are dead. The Shadow Monster's out of Will. Like, all that's left to do now is shut the gate. And since 11 opened the gate, she's, taking it upon herself. And plus, she's the only one that can
Yeah.
close the gate.
So it's supposed to kill her, right? We were led to believe that if she shuts the gate, like this is such a big
Before-
task, that it's going to kill her.
Yes. Because
Before
the
we go
gate
into
is
that,
huge.
how didn't she open the gate by making contact with the creature?
I'm
Yeah.
not really sure how she opened it.
She
Yeah, I
was in
think
like
so.
that
Yes.
submerging
it's
tank, and then whenever she made contact with it, that's whenever it opened it.
Yeah, because
am I
they were
wrong?
using her as a weapon, and then she accidentally. I don't even think she did it on purpose, or they did it on purpose. I think she accidentally
Well, no, they sent her in there. She,
to make contact because they
Dr.
didn't know.
Yeah, Dr. Brenner sent her in there. They didn't know what was going to happen, but he sent her in there to make contact. Yeah, Seth's right.
Okay.
Because they were using her as like a spy for all the Russians and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but this wasn't a Russian thing. It was like they opened a doorway to another dimension, and they
accidentally without knowing.
Yeah, they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. So she goes, makes contact. She's opened the door, so they take her to the gate, and there's a bunch of demodogs and everything coming out, right? Like they're
and they're like killing them, and like Hopper's like, loaded down.
Yeah, he's blasting these motherfuckers.
Yeah, she's killing them.
She's closing the gate and fucking shit up like that.
And they start levitating.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does, and her nose is gushing blood.
Yeah.
Like instead of like the normal nosebleeds, it's gushing blood because she's straining herself really hard
to close this gate. But
yes.
She gets it closed.
Passes out.
Yes.
And yeah.
I think it's everything goes. The whole cliche with the last one, everything's kind of coming back to normal. Hopper gets adoption papers, adopts 11.
Right,
like full fledged.
Now really like everybody in Hawkins' lab is gone.
Oh, the dance.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
No, it's nothing but humor.
Yeah.
What is it?
Because like the one kid asked earlier in the season, the one kid asked Steve how he ducks his hair like that.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
like Farrah Fawcett.
His hair exactly. And then
well, Steve's mentoring him because Steve drives him to the dance. Yeah.
Yeah. And
then
Steve gets to the dance, like he's all big shot and all of that, and then all the girls just sneer him away. I mean, it gets all depressed and everything, and then Mikey's sister,
Nancy.
Yeah, she makes him look like that big dude by dancing with him.
Yeah,
and if that's almost like a callback to the very, very first episode, in episode 1, Dustin kind of had a thing for Nancy.
Yeah.
He thought she was cool because she dressed up as an elf
for their elven campaign and stuff,
Yeah.
and like so. Another thing that's happened. Nancy and Jonathan are together. Steve is not together.
Yes.
Lucas and Max start dancing together. Nancy starts dancing with Dustin.
And
everybody's dancing with somebody, and then Mike's
not Mikey and Will. Not Mikey and Will. I'm stupid. Mikey and 11.
Where is Will at this?
Some random girl.
Yeah, some random girl was like, "You want to dance?" Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
and then Mike's by himself.
Mike's by himself, and lo and behold, here's 11, all dressed
Walking
up.
Through.
Yeah. All dressed up, and they dance and they kiss, and it's magical.
The night away.
It's magical.
It's a magical ending, and then what do? Cliffhanger the ending.
Wait, how was it cliffhangered?
Doesn't like the monster or something?
Yeah, like the monster's not gone. Like they just got the monster out of Will. They didn't destroy the monster.
They got the monster out of Will and closed its passageway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not over.
Yeah, because I remember now, because it does that big fainted glow behind the wall. And you just see like the alien creature thing.
You see the big shadow monster, don't you? Like,
see the big shadow monster. Yeah, the shadow
standing,
monster's not doing it.
Yeah, he's standing over the school, kinda.
Is it just me, by the way, or does it look like a ripped off alien from like Alien and Predator?
I don't think it looks like a ripped off alien.
With the head.
No. No.
Really?
No. I don't think so.
No.
It does to me. It looks a lot like Alien from the Alien Predator stuff.
I don't see it.
Maybe to help your argument, Seth, it's find the best two pictures you can to compare and try to persuade us
I
that
will
away.
try that. I will try that at some point, but it may just be me.
I think it is.
But
But yeah, that's basically season 2. It was all over the place, but it was just as good, if not probably better than the first season.
and now we gotta wait several more months for season 3.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we have to wait like a whole nother freaking year almost. Well, it's still 2018, so not another year.
Just several months.
Yeah.
I suppose that's what we get for like binge watching it all in one night.
Yeah. Well, I spread mine out because I watch like mostly one episode or two at a time.
Oh,
But still,
there
like
there is something that happens. They do have a Barb has they have a funeral for Barb.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Because Nancy and Jonathan, blew the doors wide open on Hawkins' lab, so and her
They
parents know that she's
um
dead.
Dr. Owens is still alive.
Yes, because he's the actual good person.
Yeah.
He's the one that helped
Wait,
Hopper. He helped Hopper adopt 11.
oh yeah, that's right. Because they
Yeah,
go to
he's
the
the one that-
cafe.
Yeah, they're in like a little diner, and he gives Hopper the papers, and says he's now her father, her legal guardian.
And then Jim turns up when he brings 11, and him and Joyce share a cigarette.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, at the dance,
Yep.
which was basically leading up to this point. I mean, kind of how like Nancy and Jonathan kind of have been.
Yeah. It's rekindled. And then,
Yeah.
as we say, the monster still looms over the high school.
Yes.
And
It's not over.
It's not over.
It's far from over.
So that was season 2 in a nutshell. I have to say, I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed season 1.
I think it was a little better, and that's coming from a guy who really likes Steve. It didn't go so well for Steve.
It didn't go so well for
But-
Steve. Yeah, he didn't have a good ending. Well, he had an all right ending, but it wasn't.
It wasn't terrible. It's
Yeah.
just he loves Nancy, and
Nancy just is a dick.
yeah, Nancy sucks. Nancy's the worst.
But it definitely was a good series. Must watch. If you haven't watched it, why the fuck are you even listening to this?
Yeah, we forgot to spoiler
maybe-
alert.
They could be listening to like this. Well, no, you're right. If you're watching this and you haven't seen it, you suck. You should go watch it.
Go watch it. Just go watch it.
Kidding. Nobody's listening to this.
Yeah, let's just be honest. Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening to this.
Go watch the fucking show. You can binge watch
If
it in
you
like a
haven't-
day on Netflix. Just go watch the fucking show.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you're like our friend Jeremy and are a loser.
He's still listening to the podcast, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, you're a loser for not watching Stranger Things.
Yeah. Watch the
Even
fucking show.
South Park makes a reference in their season finale,
Season finale.
about it and Stranger Things.
Yep. Stranger Things and it. Oh my
Which was
god.
an awesome reference.
So
I've seen it and Stranger Things.
play kick-ass 80s music.
Yeah, let's go on an adventure and listen to kick-ass 80s music.
But this was a good show.
It is.
Very good show.
Can't wait
I
for
can't-
season
I can't-
3.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. Let's all come back to season 3. Have another podcast whenever it comes out. But
Oh yeah, most definitely. I enjoyed talking about it. Not as much as I did watching it, but almost as much.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a wrap on this one. Does anybody else got anything else to say?
Yeah, Chris, Travis, thank you for having me on here.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming
coming.
on.
We hope to have you again on the 2 Guys 1 Pod. This is, like I said, this has been 2 Guys 1 Pod podcast. I'm Chris,
And I'm Travis.
and we want to thank you guys for listening. And
Until next time.
Until next time. Bye.
2 guys, 1 pod. See ya.
See ya.